Greetings, music lovers, free thinkers, and anyone else in between. This is my first debut, after my debut, Euphonic Perissology. My name is Craig, also known as Local Up the Third. I do have another podcast, mainly current events, geopolitics, and all that good stuff. Transmitting from the beautiful swampy Mingo of South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida to be exact. And I got a couple of colleagues of mine, which we knew each other for at least a good 10 years, I would say. A little bit more.
Yeah. Yep.
Band called Cosmogyral. They're not inspired by Spiral Gyro, nothing against that band personally. One of the upcoming local bands from South Florida. And two of the members are here. Please introduce yourselves.
Sean Adams.
And what do you do?
Vocals.
Dee Mulligan, guitars.
All right. That's not too bad. So, a couple questions I have. One of the questions I have is, how do you guys got hooked up? Where do you guys met and all that? Daytime, etc.
Basically what happened was I didn't know Dee, but I knew a former member, Sean Young, who was also a guitarist. I was in a band called Hollows Kept with them, also with our drummer, Rafi. And I got kicked out of Hollows Kept, and it was about 6 months later, and Sean still had my number. He called me up and said, "You got to come audition for this band that I'm in." And so I came over to the practice space. The original vocalist was there, and I checked them out, and I thought they had great riffs. It was catchy stuff, which in metal, most of the time people are trying to be technical, the most brutal, things like that. And so me and Dee shared that interest that, the songs have got to be memorable. And so I knew it was a good fit, and they liked me. I came back a couple of times, and that's pretty much how it happened. It was like October 2008, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And I'm going to add to that, amen. We loved you. We loved you. I loved you right away.
Cool, man. Nothing wrong. Yeah, interesting little beginning, and things happen along the way. So, one of the other things I asked too, what are your biggest influences in what you do now? You can start with Sean.
My influences, my dad always had me listening to Metallica and AC/DC and things like that, so that's how I started. And then in about 2000, 2001 is when I got into the more hardcore metal. I heard 6 Feet Under and Cradle of Filth and things like that, and that's what got me into the extreme stuff. But as far as like vocals, my favorite vocalists are like Dio, Jeff Tate from Queensryche, Ralph Sheepers from Primal Fear, things like that. I love all the power metal vocalists.
Okay. And how about yourself, Dee?
Well, there's undoubtedly my biggest and favorite of them all is Metallica. Then I would say Megadeth, and then growing up in Florida, inevitable at my timeline here that I would get into Chuck Schuldiner of Death, Cannibal Corpse, already was into bands like Slayer. And after that, and developing my own, repertoire on guitar, I pretty much have a pretty limited field of what I've really listened to. A lot of the ones, the big four, Testament, Anthrax, have obviously got to be included in that. And I got into the hardcore scene with Biohazard, Sick of It All, which were monsters for me. And a lot of cool other bands that had a nice punk, but the up-tempo feel, like maybe early Dropkick Murphys, Slumlords, and Sick of It All, of course, falls right in that line. And I was really influenced by that, and I got more into my rhythm playing than anything at that point. And then, hearing all the Florida death metal and stuff coming up, and I just started writing my own stuff. And, later now, of course, I got other influences, from gypsy jazz to flamenco. Sabicas, flamenco is my absolute favorite player of all time. Django Reinhardt, the typical big boys of all the genres. And that's what got me going, and pretty much I've been so focused on my own songwriting always that unfortunately I've missed out quite a few things. I can name a ton more bands, of course, down the line here that I love, but I would say that covers it. The big guys, Chuck Schuldiner for sure.
Cool. Yeah, he's regardless of what people think of him, it's just how I look at Chuck Schuldiner myself. He's always progressed and made it still unsafe.
Yeah.
That's one thing I always give him homage to, and it's a real shame that even the so-called corporate music industry don't really pay respects to a man on his how much impact he made on musicians.
Right.
And we'd be surprised, like you'd be surprised that some of the folks out there that don't even play that style of music knew who Chuck Schuldiner was.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's why I always don't need the Grammy Awards, don't need the Billboards Awards. I just wipe my rear ends at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who cares?
No. Grammys is as soon as you find out that Led Zeppelin has never won a Grammy, you pretty much throw that shit out the window.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that's got a lot to tell you about things.
Right. Even though Willie Dixon was a big influence to Led Zeppelin, and not against Dixon at all. So, what the hell? So, what songs do you want to hear? Like, you want to hear the artist? Age of Reason?
Yeah, let's open it just the way someone would. We got our first albums getting ready to drop here on June 1st. It'll be available on pretty much all the major retailers. Counting Everything Follows its scheduled release date. I'll give you the opening track, which is Apostles of Ignorance, which is the same way you'd get it if you get a copy.
So you're going to play that first song?
Let's hit it.
Apostle of Ignorance? Okay. And what's the whole song's about?
The song is basically about the way that the mainstream media, all your major channels, Fox News, CNN, any one of them, are all getting their news from the Associated Press. And the Associated Press is pretty much getting all of their news from Stratfor Global Intelligence. And so it's coming from the same source. And so they're preaching, the pundits essentially are reading off of a script, and then the people are buying that script, and then they're going out and telling other people this is what happened. So they're like the apostles of ignorance because it's ignorant information. They're not really sure, but they just parrot it because they heard it on TV.
Absolutely, yeah. Right off of Arabanese's propaganda playbook, correct?
Yep.
All right, yeah.
Right
So
out of his playbook, yep.
Absolutely. All right, cool. So the first one we'll play is Apostle of Ignorance. Check it out and crank it loud worldwide. Here we go. right. That was Apostles of Ignorance off their upcoming album, Behold, come out June 1st. So when you have that chance, buy it. You won't be disappointed.
Click it, share it, like it.
There you go. All that. Spread the love, man.
Help us buck the music industry.
That's right. And say no to MTV, right?
Unless they're playing Cosmogyral.
Yeah, exactly.
No longer play Cosmogyral. There you go. There's an exception
Some
to the
old
rule.
videos.
All right, cool. So, oh man. Well, the next thing I like to talk about when writing your lyrics, Sean. What inspires you to get your mood swings and all that good stuff?
Basically, what happens is the band, Dee will write a riff and things like that, and then he'll give it to me. What we'll do is we'll let the bass and the drums and everything get together, so I'll have a feel of the tempos and different things like that. But basically what will happen is the guitar riff kind of gives me an idea. Don't know where it comes from, but I'll hear a riff, and in my head I'm thinking, that riff sounds like it should be this. And that's where I get the topic of the song. And then, maybe sometimes a specific line comes to me, and I'll base that song off of that line. Sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes it's the opening line, things like that, but I'll try to fit it in. And most bands, I think, they do that same formula. They work off the guitar riff, but it'll be guitar and then lyrics. Whereas I'll wait till the whole band's in, because the drums are also going to guide, where I want to go with it. What tone I want to use. I do different types of vocals. And so the drums give me the energy feel and things like that, so I'll know, I accent the music the same way the drums would.
Cool. All right, no problem. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I get music all kinds of ways. Usually it just starts me just picking up the guitar is, of course, essential. I pick it up sometimes on the first chord. I can get a whole piece out. And other times you're chugging along and, hey, I just start working on technique or whatever. Out of technique may come another riff. And, sitting in traffic, hearing the blinker on my car and a long traffic light, click, click,
I do
click,
the same
click.
thing.
I think all musicians do it. All of a sudden you're like, da-da-da,
Yeah.
da-da-da. Oh, fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's on from there. I've got all kinds of track. I record almost anything that I hear. If it's worth me pulling out the recorder, I feel that there's something there to be found within the riff. They're kind of like, it's almost like a little doorway. If I play a different chord and it has a different sound, if this chord's sounding good in my ear, it's fucking like a video game. There's a hidden treasure right there. You got to find the right thing and do different things to get through the wall to find the treasure,
Right.
And that's pretty much my approach. And then once I'm into something going, a lot of times the next riff just flows out because it has a certain sound or release that I feel it's built up to need,
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, I guess, that my average way of going through things. Every time's a little different, but yet it's always the same,
Right. Yeah, sometimes I hear like a little crash or I hear someone make some stupid comment, sing a song about it, so I understand where you guys are coming from.
Yeah. Feel you. Sorry, I had a...
Don't worry about it, man. Hey, we could just do wherever we want. It's my damn show, so you guys are free spirit. If you're on your phones, so be it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to crucify you.
No, yeah, well, that's my boss giving me important information for tomorrow's day of work.
Ooh, lovely. Okay, boss.
Hey, man, yeah, I'm off at 4, baby.
Right.
See you at 8. So.
All right, so hey, you want to hear another tune? Which one do you prefer to play? Coming Storm or
Let's go into something with some fucking some amplitude in here. Let's go to Path of Ruin.
Path of Ruin, yeah, we can do that. So what can you say about this particular song?
All right, so with Apostles, like I said, you had people who blindly follow information, and the added bonus to that was that it was also about the people waking up and coming together and realizing that information is false, and there's more and more of us every day.
Yeah.
Path of Ruin is about politicians and their ideals, them almost thinking of themselves like a superhuman race that's above us, and they're going to lead us things. So they're leading us on a path to ruin with all their terrible decisions. So there's a line in the chorus. The chorus says, "This failure of flesh will lead us to our death."
Yes.
And so that's what it is. It's a failure of the, they're not gods. They are humans. So it's a failure of flesh. They think they're above all that, but they're not.
They should be reading General Butler's book, War's a Racket. I love when he made that statement about throw them on the front line. Imagine seeing these glamorous politicians want to go to war and you throw them on the front line with their suit and ties and their little glamour girls with their nails being done. I got to do my nails done to defend me. Come on.
It'd be over a lot quicker.
Well, I need to quote Jordan Maxwell on this. And what do you do with a racket? You play a game and you play it in court, on a court, like in the court of law. You start off as a young man, you turn into a learning man, then you turn into a working man. And with these politics, ultimately you turn into a beaten fucking down man for this bullshit. And that's what this song is about, Path to Ruin.
All right, cool, man. So the next tune we'll be playing is called Path to Ruin, with the album be coming out this Friday, June 1st. So check it out. Let's crank it out loud, babies. That was Path to Ruin by Cosmogyral. And I have the two gentlemen here, Sean and Dee, from the same band. And
unfortunately, it's just us two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could talk about the other members, like how you hook them up, how you got hooked up, and all that good stuff.
We can go in order.
Yeah.
This is my life story, searching for the drummer, and eventually I got my hands on to Mr. Lamardo, Raphael Lamardo, and I have nothing but high praise. He's an absolute machine. He is funny, friendly. He is a good person, man. He's got all the qualities of anything I could ever want, and he's the best drummer I've ever played with. He plays for groove. He doesn't play to machine gun you to death, which he can machine gun you to death. He doesn't play to impress you, which he can impress you. This motherfucker listens to a song and uses his fucking ears, the old-fashioned way of getting shit done. I love him. I got nothing but high praise.
Excellent.
You want to chime in on it, I'm sure you'll co-sign that one. He's been unreal.
Yeah, he's also like a team player. You never really have an issue with him. You give him ideas and he'll test them out, and if he doesn't think it's going to work, he might say something, but he's not going to like fight you too hard on it and everything, so it makes things simple. Everybody in this band now is pretty laid back. That's one of the biggest things, is we had, issues and things like that throughout our careers with different projects we were in. But, these guys are easy.
Right, it's finding the right chemistry along the way, and we finally found it. I've been in, a few bands. My last band, no secret, I was in the hardcore band Bolt Action. Got a little record deal, had some interest with some labels, and had a chance, and ultimately it comes down to the guys you're with. I mean, it's the oldest saying in the book, you're as strong as your weakest link. All my players were good, but not everybody could go tour. Not everybody was willing to quit their fucking job and support the album. So guess what? They're all still doing that same fucking job, and I'll leave it at that. And, that's more than a mouthful.
Yeah, and I could say this, too, in good faith about Bolt Action. They were a tight, entertaining band, too, and they had opportunities out there.
I had tons of opportunities.
Opportunities out there. No one followed through.
Was beating down my fucking door, and the only one answering was a couple of us.
Right, and it's a history lesson,
I'll
too.
leave it like
As
that.
I say, there's a history lesson. So there's nothing wrong talking about your past history. You don't have to...
T Black, I love you, baby.
Like how I look at it, sometimes you may have your falters, and vice versa, but it doesn't mean you're going to condemn. You'll learn from it and better yourself.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's just getting the right formula, and anybody else can work in whatever project they want, but, the way life works, at least on my end, is I'm worrying about my project. And my project, I finally got the right group. And then I guess we'll go right into the next one. Rafi was able to get Eric Lissabed into the band, and this is another one. He is the bass player I've been looking for. He plays with so much... he just has the perfect feel. When he adds notes, it doesn't detract from the song. It adds to the song. That is the most important thing, to be able to work within a construct when something is getting built, and you're not trying to kill it. I mean, he's in the pocket, and that's what you want. You want your fucking drummer, who Rafi is the pocket, and Eric's right there in the fucking pocket with him. I mean, he is. I've given Eric enough praises as he knows through his time here. I think he's awesome. Good. I've been blessed.
Good, man.
Many blessings upon this band. So
good. And any other performers?
Yeah, one last one, and we'll get right into Estrada. Eric Estrada. And he is has been in the band. How long has he been in the band, Sean?
Since like September last year, September 2017, something like that.
Right. Okay. So we're about 8 months in, 7 months in, and my math is.
Okay.
I'm not your sharpest calculator. I'm a solar power calculator, but there's no light in the room.
No problem. Yeah.
But he has been incredible. He is a quick study. He's got beyond the chops, it's back to the same thing, and I'm going to preach it till the fucking day I die. It's about what you fucking write, not what you can play. No disrespect, the greatest guitar players in the world, and all of these virtuoso guitar players, I usually don't care for your songs. Of course, there's a lot of great Satch songs, Vi's songs, and all this, I'm an Yngwie lover, not a hater, and but it's really about what you write. You watch Johnny Cash, and Johnny's one of my favorites of all time, and he said it best when the record company started pressuring him. They said, hey, you're going to have to step it up on your game here. Look at all these people. Look at all they're doing all the stuff on the instrument. They're all over the neck. And Johnny looked at him bold-faced and said, they're searching for the notes, and I already found them. And to me, that's what it's about, right?
Awesome.
Right there. It's the right
cool.
notes and right feel, and I couldn't ask for anything more, man.
That's great.
I've been blessed.
Good, man. That's awesome. That's good to hear. And don't worry, Eric Estrada is not the one who played Poncherelle from Chips, okay? So.
There is a photo, though, of the two of them together.
Oh, wow.
So, it's a small world after all.
All right.
So, Sean, add something. Tell them about these guys we got, and you know what I'm talking about. They're amazing, man.
So, like he said, with Elisabeth, he's got a great sound and everything. The thing that I like about him is also that, he can actually write things. Like, you have the main songwriters of the band, and sometimes the other guys kind of fade out. But he can actually write bass lines. He's got catchy stuff. The song Final Judgment, he has a really cool bass line going in that one in the middle of the song. And Estrada was, in a previous band, thrash metal project that was from down here. So with the thrash metal background, we have some elements of thrash.
Yeah.
That speed
Warwick.
and energy. Yeah,
Warwick,
he was in Warwick.
Yeah.
And so, he's kind of like the shredder guy. Like, he'll come in. He's like, oh, let me do this
bro.
here.
He's tasty.
Yeah.
He's got good chops.
But he knows
can
when
write,
to he knows when to tone
and
it
he's
down.
a quick study. Holy
Yeah.
shit! It's a son of a bitch quick study.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, we love you.
That's
And,
right.
I can't say enough about you, and I really thank you all.
Oh, that's awesome, man. It's really cool. So, like I said, just get your feet wet, talk about the musicians. And one thing I had to do agree, even though you had main songwriters, but you got contributors in there too, so it's more of a solid force.
Well, this thing, because the project's been going for a while, that these ones were pretty much written, by who they were, and the compositions should get quite interesting now that we get some more hands into the cauldron there.
Right.
Throwing a couple more spices.
Yeah. Yes,
Eric gonna bring that mojito.
Mojito.
Oh yes.
Even though so it took a lot of time and patience, to get this.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of time and patience. This album, by the way, Let's Drop, he did a phenomenal job. It was recorded by Mark Abramowitz at Madhouse Studios in Davie. He's a full-time nurse. He has an incredible knowledge with recording.
Good.
Yeah, like you ask him to do something, even if he's never did it, he goes, okay, shortcut commands, everything. This guy was awesome, and then and we thank you, Mark, for all your contributions, and then it was recorded by Jens Borgen at Sound Street or Fascination Street Studios.
Yeah, the mastering was done by Jens Bogren at
I
Fascination
pronounced his name
Street
wrong,
Studios
sorry.
in Sweden.
Wow.
And, I was talking to his, I started off talking to his, understudy, Tony, and then it switched over to this guy, Linus Corneliuson, I think is his name. And so he was really cool, and he would always, answer me quickly, things like that. So they were cool guys to work with, and when you asked them to do something, they always got on it in a quick manner, and always said thank you, and the whole thing was reciprocated, the respect and everything.
Class
And
act. They
exactly.
were all we're blessed again, class acts all the way around too.
Good. That's good to hear, man. And that's nice. I like that. Let's talk about all those people that made it possible.
Yeah, it's the truth,
Exactly.
man. We would be there. Let me give a shout out to my wife. I couldn't get nothing done without a good woman behind me.
Exactly.
And I'm sure my other guys ain't here, and they would all co-sign that as well. I mean, it is. It takes takes a few parts to make them.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one thing to have the vision and dream yourself, because you know what you're looking for, you see the goal, but to have people where it's not, they're kind of along for the ride,
Right.
and still support it and not, give you a hassle for it or anything, and help you promote it, things like
Cool.
that. So yeah, we've been
That's
fortunate
awesome.
on that end also.
Very cool, yeah.
It's funny because I got a good little story about your wife, Leah.
Okay, let's
When
hear that.
she's a big 80s girl. Anything 80s male, she shakes
Oh,
her
yeah.
head with a cigarette in her mouth, But one time, I was hanging out in the corner, and she's a big Queensryche fan, too. And
Huge,
so
huge
she
I love
So
Queensryche
what's
myself,
great,
yeah.
what's funny, so I was at the poorhouse, I played that song, Mary, Mary, and I just like, boop. I mean, she starts shaking her head, sit in the corner to watch her. She didn't even know I was there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, freaking out.
It was awesome, don't be wrong,
Freaking out.
She's good folk. I love you too, Leah. Okay, so I'm glad you gave Dennis love and support, or D, homage.
Yeah.
So I guess we can wrap this up. We can play another song after that. So what is the final words before we?
Well, I appreciate anybody who's listened to this banter, and I would like to thank you, and pre-thank you for any of your help and support that we got. We've chose the non-traditional route and chose not to sign with the record label, and this is an independent release, and we could use all the help we can get with if you like the video, you like the song, like it. If you really like it, share it. Geez, if you want to hear more, whatever you do, subscribe. I mean, there's a whole new interface to the way the music industry works. They've actually got, even though there's more power for the individual artists now more than ever, the ones who are locked into a contract are pretty much locked in. They've even got their hands in the merchandise. When you buy a $40 concert shirt, you better believe the band is not charging you $40. They are being taxed through the man. They're in a nice tour bus, it's owned through the man. They're jet set and it's through the man, all an expense. And anyone needs to only watch a couple Where Are They Now videos of the musicians, and you'll find that they didn't have anything to show for it at the end. I will drop one thing. Most people don't realize Prince, when he performed with the word slave on his face, this was not some kind of equality issue. That was whenever he performed under his record label. He wrote the name slave, he wrote the word slave on his face. And as everyone knows, he went to a symbol that was his only way out to beat the contracts that lock you in for a lifetime. There's been more than one local band down here from Fort Lauderdale that has been locked into multiple albums, and you can have the thing you want. They'll shelve you. They'll do everything. They'll buy the competition and put you on the shelf and lock you in for a lifetime. And we have chose to buck that system. We're doing it ourselves. So any help is help, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything final words for you, Sean?
Same stuff he said pretty much. Thank you to any of the fans that support us, the past, present, and future ones. We hope you enjoy the album because we put a lot of work into it, and so we hope you get as much out of it. Yeah, that's pretty much.
I got one more thing to add. Thank you,
Andy.
Super Craig, and not just
thank
for
you
this
for
podcast,
having us on.
for your continued tried and true work of enlightening folks the bigger truths and not just what they've been shown and led to by what's called a program. It programs you. View and share responsibly. Read everything, double check it, and get the best you can. All truths are half truths.
Right. Observe responsibly. That's always been my topic on my other shows.
And it's well said. That comes from a statement from seniority of someone who's, like all of us, thought something was to be, only to find out that it wasn't. Yeah. And I personally thank you for that, brother.
You got it, my brother. Thank you.
I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
Thank you.
And
thank
we're
you
gonna play
for your time in making this happen.
No problem, man. I thank you for your time as well. Do you want to do one more song before
let's lead it out with something.
Okay, well, I go, how about...
Let's hit him with some of that old Golden Throat, my boy. Hit him with the song Time.
Time? Okay, yeah, we'll do Time. But before I do that, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. If you want to share this, that would be great. If you have any questions, comments, and all that good stuff, whatever you do, please address your correspondences with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedoms Network, Minds.com, FutureNet.club, Patreon.com/LookLook3 with 3 eyes. If you want to be a donor, that'd be great. You hit me at Gab, which is more of a free speech version of Twitter. And I can be at yours.org and buddieslist.co. So if I ever get shut down by Facebook or Twitter, I got other alternative routes.
And then one more thing, I'll just drop a few things. You can find Cosmogyral on Facebook, on Twitter. We're soon to be on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, etc., all your major markets. And it is still a work in progress, but it's pretty much functional. Our official website is cosmogyralofficial.com. www.cosmogyralofficial.com.
Cool. I definitely will add that to my footnotes. All right.
So
What?
that pretty much wraps it up there.
Yeah, man. So, and if you want to email me, you can get me at lookingluck3@gmail.com or to your encrypted ones with the Proton Mail account, lookingluck03@protonmail.com. So we're gonna play the last song of the evening.
All these are available for stream on YouTube.
Yep.
If you
There
like,
you go.
like
And
it.
I will put some of the songs will be on my Spreaker page as well, so crank it out loud. And always say this on my other show. Always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you. Now here it is.
Amen.
Enjoy.
Watching the seconds fall away in contemplation, the realization that we're nothing more than what we perceive. And every second we will spend our lives as victims of a nation's crime. We slowly drift and as slaves to unseen forces, this cosmic cycle will bring forth an end to all, and we will cease to be. What we can imagine, we hold the power to make so. As it is above the heavens, so it is below. Behold these macrocosmic forces that you can't control. Rolling through the universe, you transmutate the soul. Let it go. we can imagine, we hold the power to make so. As it is above the heavens, so it is below.